I don't know how AI would come and talk to your co-worker for you. I don't know how ChatGPT will come and talk to your co-worker for you, or you can use AI to help you diagnose or like the issue, to find out the right questions to go and ask your co-worker. But then AI will still not do the talking for you. You at the end of the day are still the one going to do the communication. If you go and query and AI tells you that this is the problem, when you are going to your manager or you are going to your boss, you are the one going to explain. So how are you going to explain it?
You have to be willing to not know and be embarrassed as a beginner. I started contributing to open source and I realized that I was just hiding because maybe there will be an issue and then that I want to respond to and say what I think, and I will go and try and Google all the words to make sure that every single word that I am saying makes technical sense, because I'm just so scared to make a mistake or them to think that I'm not smart enough or I'm dumb enough.
Very true.
That is really, you are not going to learn with that attitude. You have to be willing to let people know that you don't know. You have to be willing to be that ignorant beginner and just like embarrass yourself. That's the only way you're going to learn.
Welcome to Building Bytes, where we tell relevant stories about Ghana's tech ecosystem to fuel innovation and drive growth in the digital economy. This season, Ghana Tech to the World is all about showcasing Ghanaian talent to the global stage. This podcast is proudly brought to you with production support from Hubtel Academy. And this special episode is in partnership with Shunga Academy's Ghana's Female Tech Trailblazers 2025. This is the 7th All-Star Women in Tech episode, and today's spotlight is on the topic, the underrated power of soft skills in software development. In the world we find ourselves today, if you want to excel in any career path, then your technical skills alone is not going to help you stay the course. You need soft skills to be able to excel in any career path you take yourself in. And today we'll be diving deep into the underrated power of soft skills in software development. I am your host for this episode, Princesster Aflakpui, Monitor and Evaluation Officer for Shunga Academy. And joining me today are 3 phenomenal women who will be sharing their stories and their perspective on the various topics we'll be touching on. So let's just get to know them. Okay, ladies, kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hello, ladies. Hi, everyone. My name is Priscilla. I'm a software developer with a commercial bank in Ghana. Previously, I have worked in finance, corporate finance, and then in data science, where I did some machine learning projects. Even in data science, I still kind of teach people how to get into data science and then train people on data analytics with Excel and Power BI and all those tools. So I still see myself as a bit of a generalist. I'm trying to focus on software development more going forward, just to build on my skills and have a bit of a depth within my technical career. Academically, though, I come from a very, very non-technical background. Okay. So I studied accounting and economics, did a double major in accounting and economics with some minor in mathematics. And so it's kind of been a long way for me. But yeah, you'll hear more about that later.
Okay, thank you so much, Priscilla.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Sorry. My name is Theodora Gyambrah, and academically, I have a background in biomedical engineering. Professionally, though, I'm a software engineer with expertise in web and mobile development. Also have done a bit of blockchain development, and currently have been venturing into data engineering. Again, aside all the technical bits, I'm also a technical educator. I teach people, or I mentor people people specifically newbies who want to venture into the tech space. And personally, I consider myself as a lifelong learner. I love learning. I'm always looking for new opportunities, new things out there, just to broaden my knowledge gap and all. I think that's just a bit of something about me. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Priscilla Dunyoh. I hold a degree in IT from the University of Ghana. Following that, I've taken courses to support my career in software engineering, including a fintech and payments certification by my current employer. I work primarily as a front-end developer, but my skill set has grown to include back-end and mobile development as well. So yeah, that's just a bit about me.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. You are doing such amazing stuff because even in the country we find ourselves now, there is a gender gap in tech. So I'm sure the younger generation hearing your story and how you discovered coding and why you are doing what you do will be encouraging for them. So can you just share with us how you first discovered coding? Because with you and your academic background, I'm just wondering, how did you leave finance to come into software development?
I wish I had I had it all planned out, and I woke up one day and I had this vision that hey, you're going to be this great software developer. Go.
Yeah.
It wasn't really like that for me. I did not grow up with computers and like come from those families where you have the kids playing video games and what's not. Like computers were something I learned in school. And so but I think for me I have always been a very, very curious person. Like I remember going out to the town with my mom and then getting lost watching like something spin or reading a billboard or something, trying to figure out what someone is doing somewhere. And so I had always just been known to be a curious child. I wish I could tell you I remember why I started, but I remember the first time I had ever like any experience with programming or tech related was in level 200 University of Ghana, sitting in my accounting classes. I have been trying to find out exactly where I got it from, but there was this application, Solo Learn. Yes. I figured out that I think I probably saw someone creating like a website somewhere and wanted to see how they created it or something, but I came across Solo Learn where you could learn like HTML fundamentals, and I'll be so excited in my accounting class, like busily typing HTML on my phone, and I would go back to my hostel and then copy it and paste it in a notepad and run it in a browser, and like I would literally see like that raw code that I built like turn into something like tangible, and I would be so excited. So that excitement was there, but then like I still did not really pursue it because at that point everyone wanted to work like in an investment bank, and then at that time Goldman Sachs, Bank of America was like the big deal. All the interesting people in business school were doing that, and so that was where my focus was. Then COVID came and then we came home. COVID came before I graduated. I think in my final year, that was when like COVID happened, and so I had like a lot of time to like be bored and get curious once again. And I think Stanford University at that time was running like this coding project, Coding Place. It was like the very, very first one, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Why not? Let me go find out what they're about. And so I signed up and joined the program, and I had to do like this. It's like a pseudo code. They call it Carol programming, and you have to like, as part of your application, write this pseudo code to move like this robots from one location to another. And that was it for me. Like I was not getting off my computer. I was literally, I had never just been so excited about something. So I got into the program, learned Python. Python was like my first programming language. The lectures were great. Chris Pitch, I've forgotten the second lecture's name, but like they were very, very great and make programming so fun for me that at the time that I was done, I actually got like a national service opportunity with an investment bank, and I turned it down because I said, I know that was very that was a very bold move that like down my career, I keep questioning like what would have happened if I had just like followed that, because like I see my colleagues that I started with at Bank of America and Goldman, I was like, you could have been there with them.
Right.
Where you are now. So, like, it's always like, oh, FOMO, this big like FOMO, like you could have been there with them, and then what. But like, it's been a great journey. I think for me, my curiosity helped a lot. And then I also had to be like very resilient and have like independence mind, be like very independent minded and know that, okay, this is exciting. This might be scary for me, but hey, like I just got out of school. I'm not in a rush. I have a lot of time. I can try this out. If it doesn't work out, fine. I can go do something else. And so like it took a lot of courage. I don't think at that time I thought I was being that courageous, but like I thought I was just following a passion or something fun. But looking back, I think it's taking a lot of courage. After that, like I didn't like just, it wasn't like a straight journey for me where after learning Python and code in place, I started with, like coding and becoming a software development. I took a lot of details. I did data science for like a year. I said, it's okay, but it's not for me. I want to do software development. So I took a finance job so that I'll have like time, because like finance was my main field. And so I took a finance job for like a year and half so that I'll have time to like learn software development on the side. And then from there, it was a long story, but I finally got like a software development. I think before we were discussing how about like sharing like actionable insights. And so I think like for anyone that like in my position, I think the best thing that I did for myself to like solidify myself in this field was to like build projects for people. And so when I started learning software development, I literally went and told someone that there's this company that buys cocoa from like local Ghanaian farmers and then sells it to cocoa board, and then they wanted to have like an application that could track the cocoa value chain all the way from like buying it from farmers to shipping it off to all these cocoa buying companies. And I literally went, like, I had never developed an application before because I was coming from data science, now learning software development. I literally went like, oh, by the way, I can build this app for you guys in 3 months. In less than 3 months, I can build this app for you guys. I code, like, obviously I did. I coded Python. I was doing data science, but I literally went and I can build this app for you guys in 3 months. And they really actually, for some reason, trusted me. And so I just had no option than to deliver. And so that really helped me with like learning software development faster, and also it helped me learn how to work with users, because it wasn't like a corporate environment where you have like business analysts and things taking user information. It was just me, the same person writing the code, going to speak to the users, trying to understand what they needed, how their process were, and then building software, trying to get their feedback, saying this, working with assumptions that I didn't realize were not even like very user-centered and all that. And so I learned a lot in like a short time. And so I always advise like anyone that build a project for someone that you know that they are going to use. Commit yourself, let them know, like let them depend on you, let them expect something from you, and like that will be like the main motivation for you to learn. You can do 1,000 tutorials. It's not going to help if you're not building anything. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, build. That's what I'll tell.
Wow. Your story is so inspiring, because normally when we are growing up, what we hear is the technical skills is either for the boy or the men.
Yeah.
It's not usually for women. So hearing that you found that fun and wanted to do that, that's really inspiring. Thanks for sharing your story with us. Okay, now Theodora, how did you discover coding?
Okay. So for me, I'm just thinking through what to start. I think it all started back when I was in SHS, senior high school, for those who are not Ghanaians. So when I had the opportunity to join this mentorship program by Google Ghana. So they came to our school. They had a couple of girls. I went to a girls' school, by the way. I don't know if I should mention, but anyway. So they had a couple of girls from my school that they put together for a mentorship program. I think it was for a couple of months. So prior to that, I didn't even know Google existed in Ghana. Okay. I didn't even know they had like an office space. Whenever I think of Google, I only think of Google as the web, like the search engine, and then their products and all. So when they came for us, we got there and realized that this is good. I'm like, hey, so Google, like something like this is in Ghana. Yes. And when I went there and I saw the space, I saw their office environment and everything, I was just fascinated. I said, I don't know what these people are doing, but whatever they are doing, me, I want to do so. Like, I want to follow this path. I don't know, because it was kind of contrary to the idea that I had about typical work environment and even the job market. And like, it was different. It was so different. Of course, since then, I've seen that a lot of companies are trying, like there are companies that are doing. But when I saw that, I was like, wow, this thing that they are doing, I'm going to do. So after that, I started doing like a bit of research around, okay, what will get me into a space like that?
Okay.
Because that was, I was in my third year, which we had to now go to, we have to write our WASI and then buy forms for the universities. I was like, I don't know which course I'm going to read, but the course that I'm going to read, it has to align. So when I did my research, I came up with things like, oh, computer science. I was like, wow. I mean, realized that computer science can lead me there. That is one. And then I said, oh, for me as a person, I love mathematics. And also now that like I discovered a new part that tech is something that I also enjoy. So I was like, oh, let me look for something that bridges the two. So mathematics and then maybe anything technology. So computer science, or then I also thought about, oh, actuarial science is also another option, because I learned actuarial science, like actuaries deal with data and all that. So another option then. So I did all my findings, and then I went to my cousin. If he's watching, sorry. I went to my cousin that, this is what I found. I would want to either pursue this computer science part or actuarial science. Then he comes in and like, Theo, I know this is what you want, but you see me, I did computer science. And after, like, the ecosystem in Ghana right now is not really it's not too much supportive of computer science. So since you're a science student, why don't you go the way of medicine? And go and read medicine. I was like, okay, well, let's see. And not just that. I mean, people came like, okay, medicine is there because in quotes, there's the job security aspect of it. So I was like, okay, I don't like medicine, but if they are saying that this is what I should do, let me just go along with it. So we bought forms for medicine, and then we bought forms for like a couple of schools, and all of them was medicine. And later he came back and said, oh, Theodora, I realized that in Care University, medicine is not really like, instead of, because it's more science and technology inclined, I'm being reported speech. I think Care University, you should go for the engineering. And I've realized that there's a field called biomedical engineering, which is still in the medical domain, but then there's more of what engineering. So let's change that one to what biomedical engineering. I'm like, okay, well, I think that one too is good. And up to that moment, I didn't even know anything about biomedical engineering, apart from Prof. Kaufman, that I know she's a biomedical engineer. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, okay, let's just go with the biomedical engineering part. But unknown to all of them, the reason why I was going along with it was because personally, I was doing research. I wanted to apply to Ashesi. I did apply, hoping that I could get a scholarship to study computer engineering. So I was saying, okay, without really letting them know. I think later I came out like, I actually applied to Ashesi, and he even gave me the money to pay for the forms eventually, like that. So my I wasn't focused on any of them. I was just focusing, like, hoping that Ashesi would come here and say, oh, come and do computer engineering. Only for me to realize last minute that I didn't get in. And then the options that I have now is medicine or biomedical engineering. And eventually, it's a whole story, but eventually I ended up going for biomedical engineering at Tech. So when I got, because of what happened, like the series of events that happened before I landed in Tech, once I got to Care University, I was on the lookout for opportunities that would help me to still pursue the passion that I had, like in computer related stuff. And biomedical engineer is also a technical, like it's a tech field. Biomedical engineering is a tech field. Just that it's not a typical computer science field, basically. So I was just looking for things that would help me, make me feel that I'm still closer to the field like that. And in one of such adventures, and I came across this post by Kumasi Hive. So Kumasi Hive, they were running a web development program for it was just for a series of like a couple of months, and it was
Yeah.
free for ladies. So I decided that okay, I'm going to apply. And this was like 2 months. It wasn't even 2 months. 1 month that I landed in Ken University. I didn't know what I was going to do. But when I just saw it, I was like, well, they are saying web development is something tech, or is something, I don't know, like software. So let me just go for it. So I applied, and then I got in, I did the interview and everything. I got into it. So really, really, my first introduction to coding was at that bootcamp.
Okay.
And at that bootcamp, of course, we started with the HTML, we started with the CSS. It went well. We did JavaScript, and I didn't see anything. I finished the bootcamp, and I could do something, but not something
Yeah.
like that. I just didn't understand so much of what I was seeing. So I mean, came back to my school work and all that. And thankfully, when I was in second year,
Yeah.
for biomedical engineering at Tech, you do programming as well. So we did C as our programming language of choice. That was second year. So that was like the proper introduction to programming as a concept. Kumasi Hive gave me like the web dev, like HTML, CSS mindset, not the JavaScript bit. But then when we did the C programming as a course, I took it upon myself to really take it like very serious.
Yeah.
From there, we did Java 2, we did OOP. So we did Java 2, and then like just a couple of things. So if it's about how I entered tech, this is just my journey of how things played out. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, so it's really interesting to me listening to you both, because I could relate to a lot of the things you said. So, starting out,
Yeah.
my story is quite similar to yours. After SHS, I intended to do like medical related stuff. So all my forms that I bought, except Ashesi as well. So you see how relatable. Yes.
If they are watching us, they should see.
Funny enough, I also bought Ashesi.
You also bought Ashesi for.
You also
Okay, so
It's because it's all fine.
I need a Vicky.
who knows?
It's fine. It's
go
fine.
ask them.
Yeah, so it was just a chassis that I picked computer engineering for, and all the others, there was either pharmacy, medicine, or whatnot. So I think it was right before we would get into school, and then my sister called me one time and she was like, have I heard about IT? And it's like the biggest thing now, so why don't I try it? And prior to that, like I had no background. I mean, obviously in high school you've studied ICT, and then you go to the labs. Truth be told, when you go to the labs, all I do is watch. I mean, that's all we did. So yeah. I didn't know what to expect in IT when I go to the university, and she was going on and on about it. I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. So she went on. She did the selection for me. She chose IT. She chose computer science. I think she did the selection. Yeah. So she chose IT and then computer science, and I got into Legon to study IT. And so you can imagine, for somebody who has like zero background and zero idea of what to expect in IT class, I went to my first intro to programming class in level 100. And guess what the programming language was? C++. Of course. No, like you can just imagine the confusion. Like I'm just there, like I'm confused. I don't know what all this is about, like programming, all of this. So after that class, I went to research on what programming is about. Guys, like all the things I found, like nothing. I was just like, oh my God, I'm really going to spend 4 years in this school trying to figure my way out to all these things, and C++ to like, my goodness. So after my research and my experience with the things I saw, I was just like, oh my God, I'm not going to do anything programming related. I will just do more research and find something that is not so coding related in tech to do, because I can't waste 4 years in IT class and then like go on and do something else altogether. So I was exploring other things in tech. I did a little bit of designing. I did a little bit of data analytics. I took a cybersecurity course. I did so much. I was doing so much exploring because I was not about to waste my 4 years in uni.
Yeah.
So yeah, after my through my exploration, I think one time, so around that time, I used to post like my designs on LinkedIn. So there was this, he was also a designer at the time, but I was also doing web development. So he texted me and then we were having a conversation, and then he was like, do I have like interest in trying anything web development? And I was like, please, I've tried that thing before, especially with, I've also tried with Solo Learn. Yeah, I did a little bit of HTML, CSS there. I wasn't still getting it. It was just a lot for me. And then he was like, okay, he would mentor me. And like, he would, if I should take, he would send me courses, and then he would be like, I should take them if I have any questions. Then we'll get on the call, then he would take me through and all of that. So that was like my first exciting experience with coding. And ever since then, it has always been. So when I realized that, okay, I could actually get it, it encouraged me. And I got more curious, like, oh, I could do this. Then what more can I do? So I kept on, trying my hands on it. And yeah, that's how I'm still steady in this software engineering career.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. But if we'll be realistic, the field you find yourself is a male-dominated space. So can you share with us your toughest people moments when you started, and what soft skills helped you stay the course? So let's so on.
So for me, I think my toughest people moments, right, will be giving critique, because starting out, I didn't think I was qualified enough to criticize somebody's work. Like, what do I know to tell you that? No, but I think what that helped me with is being empathetic with other people's work. So usually when I see somebody else's work, the first thing I do is to like go through their thought process, like listen to them. Why did you do this way? Even if I have like a way that I would do it differently, I'll first listen to your thought process and be like, okay, why did you do this? Why did you do this way? And what can I learn from it? Usually. So yeah, I think in as much as it has been a tough thing for me, I still think that there's a positive to it. I still get to learn from other spirits. So
okay.
Okay, so to me, I would say basically being okay with the idea that just being okay with the idea that you don't know it all. And as you don't know it all, having that mindset that it's a matter of, like, it's a journey that you are on. So if it's a journey and today something goes wrong or I do something wrong, just knowing that, well, it's just part of the learning process. And the reason I say this is because as a person, I tend to be hard on myself, like, a lot, especially when it's like you give yourself some more realistic deadlines, and I do that a lot. But at the end of the day, I come up and then I'm beating myself for it. But then one thing that I'm learning, I'm still on the path, is that it's a journey. It's you're not at the destination yet. So just don't be hard. Just, if mistakes happen, they happen. So move on with it, learn from the mistakes, and then move on. Because it's also part of it. You can't like extract that part out of your journey. Like, that's if a mistake happens. So just learn to be okay, and then pick as much as you can from it, and then move on.
Yeah, I think for me, it's very, very similar to you. That feeling that you have to have it all figured out. And if you do something that you've messed up, and it's so hard on yourself comparing people. But I think one thing that it's probably something I realized like quite recently. And that is, I think I had been always waiting to be ready. Like I have to have like, okay, so I want to apply for this job. Okay, I have to have built three projects on my GitHub, and I have to have done 10 lead codes, and I have to have spoken to 10 people on LinkedIn in that industry to know. I always realize that like I've been holding myself back from stepping out of my comfort zone or going and doing things that even other people that interacted are like, oh my god, Priscilla, you'll be so good for this role, and then they probably just got to know me for like 15 minutes. They think I'll be so good for this role, and I'll be telling myself, oh my god, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I don't have enough projects on my GitHub. I don't have enough this. I don't have enough that. I don't have enough that. And I'm really, really learning, especially like there's been a lot of data about how like, for example, with men, that's the one you brought up. We brought women in, like with men, a lot of men like would apply for a role if they qualify for like at least like 50% of it, and then while we women would wait to qualify like 80-90%, and I didn't even realize that's what I had been doing. And so I'm really learning quickly that it really does not hurt. Like no one's going to beat you up, but like just like try and like put yourself out there. The West, I don't know what the West is. The West you can do is to learn about your inadequacies and like improve later on. But if you are just going to wait to be ready, you are really never going to be ready. And also like in relation to that is also like you have to be willing to not know and be embarrassed as a beginner. I started contributing to open source, and I realized that I was just hiding because I like maybe there will be an issue and then that I want to respond to and say what I think, and I will go and try and Google all the words to make sure that every single word that I am saying makes technical sense, because I'm just so scared to make a mistake for them to think that I'm not smart enough or I'm dumb enough.
Very true.
That is really, you are not going to learn with that attitude. You have to be willing to let people know that you don't know. You have to be willing to be that ignorance beginner and just like embarrass yourself. That's the only way you're going to learn. It's still something I am learning. I keep telling people that, but it's still something that I am learning, that I realize that I just don't want to look like that's ignorance beginner, that person who doesn't know. So it's been tough, but I'm learning it. I'm shaking that away.
Thank you so much. So in your various experiences, would you say that strong communication skills and teamwork can compensate for a non-computer science background? Would like to go first?
Honestly, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I really think software development is a broad field. Within like software development, someone would want to go the IC way, like the independent contributor way, so they want to be like more of a very hard skill developer, principal engineer, was like in that role. Yes, communication skills, teamwork skills are important, but I don't think it can make up for lack of core computer science skills. And when I say core computer science skills, you don't have to have had like a BSc in computer science, but at least, and like right now, tech is very, very decentralized. Like you don't have to go to school to learn a lot of things. So like my compare software development to accounting, there's so much wisdom in the software development scene that people just give out for free. When I was in accounting, I could never find like certain information on the internet for free. And so like it's a field that like people give out a lot of knowledge, and so you really can't take advantage of that and get like core computer science skills. I don't think if you want to be like an independent contributor or principal engineer, communication skills are important, but it will not. But if you want to go more into leadership, development, advocates roles, maybe communication skills are important. If you're a developer advocate, I don't think you need to be doing lead code and understanding all the DSA principles, but communication teamwork skills are then more important. So it depends more on like what field that you want to go in within like software engineer, and making sure that you have the necessary skills for that field.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Would like to add up.
Okay, so I think I get Priscilla's perspective. I'd also want to come at it from this angle that when it comes to communication, or when it comes to soft skills in general, it irrespective of the background that you are coming in, it's important, like very, very important. Whether you have, you're CS, you have like a computer science background or from a non-CS background, it's still important. So with that one said, it's just a matter of matter of which one is more important for, like, in which fields you require it more. And I still think that even with that, communication is communication. I mean, that's the lifeline of every relationship. So if you are going to find yourself in, so long as you are going to find yourself in a working environment, you have other people, like, other than yourself that you are working with, you can't take communication out, whether you have a CS background, whether I don't have it or not. But for somebody who doesn't have like the CS background with like the technical, not like the technical know-how, but the like traditional technical, like, so traditional knowledge, CS knowledge, I think for you it is even more important. What do I mean by that? You find yourself working with people that they did data structures, like they've read all those things they know. You probably didn't learn it as part of your journey. And in a team like that, we are trying to make decisions on such a subject. For you, it's a good time for you to now put your communication skills to use. Ask questions. Don't just sit down, keep quiet, and then when the task is given, you move along with it. Like, you have to talk. You know, communication is not just about also talking, but then actively listening and all. So if you are coming in, you find yourself in such a working environment, you have to be very proactive with your communication. Ask more questions. When the task is given to you, now it's not the time that you keep quiet about. Like, ask questions so that, you will get more clarified. Probably if the person has a CS background and you say something, oh, we are going with this, like maybe algorithm, and or everybody knows what it is. You don't know. You didn't do algorithm. So do you sit down and like be quiet? Oh, I don't want to talk. I don't want them to know that, oh, this and that. No. That's the time that you ask questions and ask, okay, please, what algorithm? Let them know. It's fine. As Priscilla said, be okay with the thought of being embarrassed. But at the end of the day, who stands to gain that knowledge? You get that knowledge. So very, very important for somebody who is not even having that typical or traditional computer science background.
Okay. So, Priscilla, if you were onboarding a junior developer today, which soft skills will you prioritize?
Okay, so I'll say growth mindset. And I say this because when you analyze it, you see that it encompasses most of the other soft skills. Because if you have a growth mindset, you'll be curious to know more, you'll be curious to learn more from others, you communicate more, you listen actively to when people are communicating with you. So I think growth mindset encompasses all the other soft skills. So that would be the soft skill that I would tell any junior developer to focus on, to build. And then
okay, would you like to add to what she said?
I don't know if you would consider just having general problem solving skills as like a soft skill, but I think that's something that I'm realizing that a lot of people probably a lot of us probably need to work on. And when I say general problem solving skills, I mean just being able to take like a problem into context. So you come to work and then maybe there's an issue that you are trying to fix. How are you looking at the issue? Are you trying to find out what happened? What was going on when it happened? Which people is it affecting? What is the context of the environment that you are in that the issue is happening in? And then like you don't just go start being like, oh my god, there's an issue, what's going to happen, how are you going yes, like a lot of people see them running around. And just like having problem solving skills is just generally being able to bring in experiences from like all your other domains. So you learned about I don't know, 1 + 1 = 2 in school. How are you going to bring that at work? Like now you have a problem at work, how are you going to bring that? Like, do you just see the things that you learned in school as just isolated thing? Because I see like a lot of students, like currently at work we have like interns coming in who are studying computer science
in
school, and then they come in and then they have like all these coding projects that they have done, and then you ask them to like, oh, just explain, not even like your code. What problem were you trying to solve? Which people can use, and then they cannot give that general context to their program. They are like, oh well, they told us to build this and we built it. But so just really, really not just like jumping straight to technicals, but like asking questions, trying to understand that whatever software that you are building, whatever problem that you are solving involves people, trying to see how whatever that you are doing affects people, and just like generally just understanding. I don't know how to, if that I don't know how to give it like a word for it, but I see that doesn't happen. People just want to go quickly give some technical definition to something. Like a lot of your problems are actually, funny enough, at work, a lot of like bugs and issues that happen are not issues that I go solve with code. It's really, most of the times, I mean some issues, you have to go change code, but like it's really about like talking to people, trying to understand what they were doing in the software when that happened, and then realizing that maybe a setup or a configuration wasn't done properly because you did not understand some business need or something. And so it's really, really important to like communicate and like just try and talk to the people's side of problems before you go do all your technical.
I agree with you, because at the end of the day, you are getting the technical skills, yes, but you are going to work with people and for people. So if you don't have some soft skills on how to relate with people, how to even talk with people, how to manage your time, it will be very difficult for you to excel in any role you find yourself. Okay, so now Theodora, with the way tech is evolving and the way AI is shifting the balance, would you say that soft skills is now more essential?
Okay. Would I say so? Yes, I would say so. Okay. So AI helps with the technical bit of things. I don't know how AI would come and talk to your co-worker for you. I don't know how ChatGPT will come and talk to your co-worker for you, or you can use AI to help you diagnose or like the issue, to find out the right questions to go and ask your co-worker. But then AI will still not do the talking for you. You, at the end of the day, are still the one going to do the communication. If you go and query and AI tells you that this is the problem, when you are going to your manager or you are going to your boss, you are the one going to explain. So how are you going to explain it? You get it. So and more so now, people have words and people have answers. AI is helping us come up with solutions to things and all. But then if you just take it at surface level and you also don't understand what you are getting and even how to go about communicating it, then at the end of the day it becomes so obvious that you basically just took it at face level. You didn't do anything on your end. So very, very important. Now, as Priscilla was saying, that people build software. Yes, a lot of people will build software. You see like things that they've done where you ask them about what their problem is even solving, they can't speak to it because at the end of the day they did vibe coding and then they did vibe coding and then they came up with people and say, oh, I'm a software engineer and all that. Let's come and let's ask you questions. So it's very, very important. So soft skills such as being able to communicate effectively, very, very important. Orientation to detail, problem solving, they are very, very important now. It's not enough having the solution. You should be able to know how to also communicate that solution. You should be able to know how to, you should understand what your solution even is to begin with. Very, very important.
And also it's so funny because exactly how you said it is what I told some people that I was having a discussion with, because I had this problem I was trying to solve, and they're we can just give it to Keza. Keza can solve this in 1 hour. And we did give it to Keza. It had a solution. Yeah, but then that solution just did not work for our context. And so context setting is very, very important. Even if you want to use AI, you have to be able to give AI the context of your application. And that, you cannot give AI that context if you don't have these soft skills. You do not communicate with your partners on the project, you do not communicate with the customer, with your business analysts, with your testers and all that. So if you really just do not have content and soft skills, you can use AI, you can build projects, but are people going to use it? And this current time that we are seeing like the rise in AI agents, and you have like Microsoft, Google, like marketing AI agents that can finish a PR, that can respond to an issue on your repo and all that. It's becoming more like, okay, software developers are going to be replaced. So it's more like, what can you do that the AI agents cannot do? Like you said, you can go communicate with them. I don't know how the AI agent is going to talk to the customer and explain this. Maybe in some near future, but at the moment, probably not. And so, yeah, very, very important. Problem solving, context setting, very, very important.
Okay. And to add up also, because of AI now, when it comes to the technical skills, almost everybody has it. So now it's more like, how do you stand out as a person? Because if it's about the day-to-day activities of the job and I'm a hiring manager, I know that, of course, even if I pick somebody in quotes who just like maybe a newbie or whoever, even somebody with a non-computer, like should I say, a software engineering background, and I'm able to tell them that, oh, this is the problem I'm trying to solve, the person can use AI to do it. So for the technical skills, it's now becoming easier to come by. Now, how do you stand out from the rest, from the masses? Your soft skills is what is going to help you stand out. So now when hiring managers, when people are hiring, they are looking at cultural fit. And it is even on a higher pedestal than the normal, like the technical skills, because everybody wants to know that this person can fit into our environment. This person, like, they can be effective in such an environment. This is what we value. These are our values and all that. So also very, very important for you to stand out. You need to have these soft skills so that among the masses, at least you have something that you know that I can communicate effectively. When it comes to orientation to detail, I am there, like beyond my technical skills.
And what you just said brings me to my next question. We know that soft skills is hard to prove on paper. So how do I showcase my soft skills during an interview? How will I showcase my soft skills?
Okay. So how do you? So when it comes to interview, how to go about answering your interview questions? There's this framework that we call the STAR method. So situation, task, action, and then the results. So as much as possible, your answer should be framed like using this approach. You give as much context. So like give as much context using the situation. The situation stands for like the context. Task, what you were asked to do. The action is what action did you take, and then the results. So if I'm being asked that, tell me about a project that you worked on. Now, using this context, like using this framework, I don't just say, I did this and that. I used Java or I used Python to build this project, and then this is what it did. That is one. You can go with that route, but you're just talking about the technical part. Whereas you can use the STAR framework and come out like, when in my last role as a front-end developer, I was working with so and so, like in a team of 4 people and all that, who were tasked to work on this feature, and these are some of the challenges that we encountered this challenge, and what we did was we took proactive steps to understand what the issue was, and at the end of the day we're able to build this nice website so you see, like with this approach, you are not just giving that, okay, this is a project that I built, but you are giving the person context. So you're like, okay, so this person can work with people. This person has, problem solving skills. They encountered a challenge and then they took proactive steps to understand the issue before delving into it. Okay, so it's like through your answers, you are giving hints of your soft skills without necessarily mentioning them. Because if you, even if they ask you a question that what soft skills do you have, and you say, I have problem solving skills. How do I know that I have problem solving skills? Or if you say I communicate effectively, like how you have to show me how to. So using the STAR method to answer your questions, very, very helpful.
Okay. Now, Priscilla, can you tell us how can developers working remotely show initiative and culture fit?
Show initiative. Okay, so I think I have very I would say I have very controversial takes, but to answer your question, I think that working remotely, one of the things that you can do to show that it's because you're not working in an office space where people are seeing you work or stuff like that. So I think some of the things, first and foremost on my list, is you have to be competent at what you do. There's no negotiable to it. If you don't know, I mean, right now there are AI tools that can help you achieve that. But even so, it comes back to the point that they've mentioned. If you don't have like all the other soft skills like communication and then analytics, whatever it takes for you to achieve your competence, you are not able to, like, without that, it will be hard for you to thrive in your working space. And aside that, I think another thing you have to do working remotely is to communicate effectively, because you are not working in an office space again. And I mean, the only way you communicate with your co-workers is through all these communication tools, Teams and all of those things. So you have to be prompt with communication with your colleagues. You have to be readily available. You have to, I think that's
that's
okay. So, like, you like communication, so I think my current job is like my first job where I had to be in an office. So previously I've worked with like international remote teams where you have people sitting on like multiple different parts of the world in different time zones, and the only time you see them is like some small thing on your, I don't know, what's it, Slack screen or whatever. And so like a lot of the thing, like Priscilla mentioned, is about like not leaving people in the dark. Like when I started, I used to think that I was taking initiative and being an independent worker by like going in my own little corner and trying to finish my projects before I go and give updates and go and tell my manager that, oh, by the way, when I started this project, I was having this issue, but then I Googled it and spent like 4 hours on it. But then finally, I am done. Clap for me. I realized like my manager chastised me a lot because it was like, I cannot see you work and I do not want to think that you are not working. And so at any point in time, you can give an update. You don't have to have a finished work to give an update. And updates like, okay, so by the way, I started this project yesterday. I had a challenge. Maybe we could get on the call if you could help me with that challenge. But this is what I have been able to do. It's not also just like saying I have a challenge and then leaving it. Like this is what I have been able to do A, B, C about it. Maybe you can help me figure out D and C, how we can go about it. So just dropping updates as and when necessary. And also like for like one thing that you can do that'll be very effective for you if you like join like a remote team for the first time is ask for introductions. Like it's very, very important, right? Because when you join, find the company will literally maybe share in their Slack or whatever means of communication that, okay, this new person has joined this team, let's all clap for them. But like you have people coming to you for work and then you don't really know them on a personal level. So one of the best things that you can do, like ask your manager to get you introductions to like various strategic people that you might be working on. Get to know them on a personal, fun, less serious level so that you can have some kind of personality behind the people, because you don't see them at work. See, at work, you see someone wear like a nice red shirt and then you can have like a whole conversation around the red shirt and how they bought it on vacation somewhere. You don't have that in a remote setting. And so you really, really have to try and find ways to like get that. And I think another thing is like a lot of us in Ghana, and especially like in some of the environments that I've worked in Ghana, like there's a lot of respectability politics around. Like everyone, like they can't call people by their first names. Auntie this, Mr. This, say madam. Like, that's true. In a lot of like international remote teams, like that does not play there. It's not the culture, because like everyone comes from very different backgrounds and view like respect and titles in like a very different way. And so you have to be very, very conscious about how you're addressing people, how you're communicating with people, not make sure that you're not bringing some kind of religious bias, like go and be like, I'm going to pray for you or something. Like if that person, based on your interactions with them, have told you they are religious, that's fine. But like you don't go in there with like some kind of biases like around, like that you have locally. Because a lot of time we think that because this happens in Ghana, like that's the norm, and so you have to be very cautious about like how you are communicating with people, making sure that you are not pushing like a lot of like your local bias and communication skills out there, and just like making sure that you understand the culture, especially for remote team. Culture fit is very, very important. Like you do document, you go through documentations, try and understand their culture very well. And like on documentations also, like you have to document a lot. So you are doing your work and then you had a problem. You cannot go tell everyone in the office. Like maybe in an office building, you could have just had like a short meeting. You go on the blackboard or whiteboard or whatever and put it there. You cannot tell everyone in the office. Maybe maybe your manager, or maybe it might come up on the call, but like you have to document a lot, because a lot of people in the future are going to go through your documentation and try and find out what happened, how you solve that. And so like also documentation is very, very important.
Okay, thank you so much. So still on you, so everyone is going to take this. Is pair programming overrated or underrated? Just your question.
This is so interesting because we're discussing this before the show.
Okay.
It was like, it's a very hard position for me to take, for me to say, just on a blank slate, pair programming underrated, or on a blank slate, pair programming overrated. I think it depends, and that's what I was saying. If you are a junior, like a junior developer joins a team, and maybe they are coming from like a whole different background, and you are trying to like get them up to like speed with like your development environment, be very good to like do pair program, like pair the junior with like someone a bit more senior, and like once in a while give them space to do their work, but once in a while like go on and like try and pair program and try and see how they think through solutions, and try and see how they think through ideas, and kind of also share how you think through ideas to help them. Like pair programming has helped me a lot to like just understand how that the way that I see things might not be this way that is the same line of code, but like the way that I would interpret or see it might not be the same way that someone is. So in that case, pair programming is important. But also at the same time, if you're working in a team of like senior developers, we are all very conversant with our tech stack. At a point, constant pair programming feel like surveillance. Like you want to, what are you looking for? Like you want to test me. You want to, so in that case, it might probably not be very, very important.
Okay, Theodora, do you think formal mentorship programs is overrated or underrated?
These questions are difficult to answer because taking a stance as to whether it's like it's not like one or the other. You get it. Do I think formal mentorships are overrated? No, I don't think they are. I don't think they are overrated. It's very, very important. And and how I understand formal mentorship is you find yourself in a mentorship environment. This person is clearly defined. That this person is the person mentoring you, and all. It's good because it helps you. Let's say it helps you know who to go to for issues, and it helps you know for you to like find whatever answers or solutions. Like if you have a problem, you know your go-to person. So it really helps with that, because maybe if you find yourself in an environment that is not too clear, who your superiors are, where to go to, it becomes a bit. It may slow you down. You get it. So overrated, no, I think it's really relevant. But I also want to highlight the informal mentorship aspect that most of the times we also tend to overlook. Yes, someone say I don't have a mentor, but then there are a lot of mentorship can be delivered via various media. It's not just only through the formal, like, oh, this person is my mentor, the person knows me, I know the person, I go to their house, I go to their office. No, I mean, even through social media, on LinkedIn, and all, there are people that can be indirectly mentoring you that you can learn so much from. On social media, that is one. Even with your own colleagues, your peers, you can also have some sort of like informal mentoring with them. So the fact that maybe coach, you may be on the same level does not mean that you cannot learn from the person. How you approach matters may be different from how the person approaches matters. So it's an opportunity for you to learn from the person. So for a lot of new people like beginners, like, oh, I want a mentor, somebody wants to mentor me, and can you be my mentor and all that. Yes, if you have somebody like that who will sit down with you and say that, hey, I am your mentor, you are my mentee, this is the path that I have for you, hallelujah, like, good for you. However, if you don't have that as your case, doesn't mean that you lose out on mentorship. There's this still like informal mentorship around, just by like reading the person, following the person actively. So this person, I see that, this person on LinkedIn is doing something good, like it's pursuing something, like where I want to get to is where this person is. You can follow their post, you can follow the things, their activities and all. If you get the opportunity to send them a private message and then introduce yourself and all, fine, you can also go with that, like you can do that. Okay, so even just in this like scenario, you can still experience some sort of mentorship. So let's not sit on the informal one too.
And just to add to, like, speaking of informal mentors, like, it's always crazy when I tell people I never really had like a mentor in software development, even though I was coming from like a totally non-technical background, and so it would have actually helped. For me, it was just going on the internet and seeing someone's blog that I found really interesting, and just like going and following them on like Twitter or something, and then joining everything that they do. So currently I've been like obsessed with databases, and like I don't know anyone that actually like works with like building databases, but I found this guy in like he lives in New York, Phil Eaton, and then he creates like this database club where like you read like a book about databases and you like implement them and all that. And I have never met him, I have never said hi to him, but he's kind of like my mentor in that category. And all I had to do was just go on his blog, join his book club, and then just follow. So you really it has never, that formal mentorship thing has never worked for me.
Okay, and Priscilla, is conference speaking essential or vanity?
Honestly,
vanity.
Exactly. Because
Please.
no, but personally, it's not a thing that I'll just stand up and do.
Okay.
But I think it works for other people. I mean, there are people who are more outspoken, people who like, I mean, they want to do this kinds of thing, and it works for them, and it's fine. But personally, I don't do it. I mean, I'm always in my space unless I'm approached, and I'm like, okay, should I take this opportunity? I weigh my chances, and then I go for it if I have to, and then I decline if I don't feel for it. But I think that just the same as all the other takes. There's no yes or no to these kinds of things. It just depends on the person and what works for them. If it works for you, fine. If it doesn't too, it's absolutely fine too.
Okay, so before we wrap up,
Please let me just clarify that. Please, it's not vanity for me. It's not vanity for me, please. I enjoy developer relations, so it's not vanity for me. For me, it's a good opportunity for me.
Okay, so before we close, can you share with us one soft skill you live by? Individually, just one soft skill. Who would like to go first?
I think I don't know how to give it a name.
Just one.
But I don't know, maybe curiosity.
Okay.
Like I don't like people, I don't want to say don't like, but I probably not a fan of when people take things at face value. Like, okay, so why did you write this line of code this way? Because that's what was in the documentation. That's what I saw in the example from Stack Overflow or from ChatGPT. Like, I like it when me personally, I want to know why. I will keep asking why and why and why and why and why till like I'm satisfied. And so sometimes I can be annoying. So you did it this way. Why? Why didn't you do it that way? Okay, so if you remove this, what will happen? Why? And so like, just always asking why. Try to don't take things as face value. I do not take things as face value. I want to know why that happened.
Okay, Theodora.
Okay, so for me, one soft skill that I live by, I think it will be, I'll frame it as resilience.
Okay.
But really, I want to say that the completionist in me, like that need to want to complete something, like that is really that is it. Like the need to want to complete anything that I start, and it kind of builds in me that resilience. So it has really helped me. My entire journey can be summarized as such. That is one skill that has brought me this far, because to me it's like there's no road. Though. If I'm on this, I have to see it's to the end.
Wow.
So if I start something because of that, I'm very particular about the things I venture into, because I know me that if I say I'm coming to, let's say for anything, I say today I want to explore the field of content creation, I would see to it that I go with it to the end. So if I'm doing something, I was like, I have to really say that, Theodora, do you think you have the time for it now? If I have the time, because I want to go all out for it. That is me. So that completionist which fuels my resilience is one soft skill that I live by and then has really helped me.
Okay. Priscilla.
Okay, so for me, I will reiterate what I said earlier about growth mindset.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's been my driving force, because I constantly want to know more, want to do more. Because I mean, I was primarily I'm primarily a front-end engineer, but over the course of my career, I've expanded to learn more about back-end and mobile development, and I think that has the growth mindset has been the driving force behind it, to explore more beyond. I actually don't confine myself in a box. I mean, I try to expand myself beyond what I feel like is the reach in the moment. So I try to strive for more. I try to learn more, and so I think that's the soft skill that has been.
Okay. Thank you so much. So now, can you share with us how can we find you online?
I think for me, LinkedIn, because like on LinkedIn, everything else that you can see about me lists from LinkedIn.
So what's your name?
Priscilla Baah on LinkedIn. Just LinkedIn.com/Priscilla Baah.
Okay.
Okay. Same LinkedIn. Theodora Gyambrah on LinkedIn. You can send me a message. I do want to reply to all my messages.
Okay.
And then we can connect and then see where that would take us. Yeah.
Okay, me too on LinkedIn, Priscilla Dunyoh. So send me a message.
Okay, thank you so much. And before we close out, I just want to ask, do you think soft skills are underrated or?
Definitely underrated. In software development, very underrated.
It is. Okay.
Very underrated.
Okay. Thank you so much. And that's a wrap for this episode of the All Stars Women in Tech. And we are still in the season, Ghana Tech to the World. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice day.